Hello everyone, my name is Markell Farol and today I will be presenting my identity presentation. Introduction. So right now I'm currently enrolled in Women's Studies 101 and like I said, I'll be presenting my identity paper video project. This assignment is an opportunity for me not only to introduce myself, but also to take a step back and reflect on the many layers of my identity, where I come from, what has shaped me, and those influences connect to the broader themes of this course. When we talked about identity, we're really talking about all forces social, cultural, personal, and historical. That, make us, that makes us who we are. Sometimes we take those for granted. But when we pause to analyze them, we start to see how much our family, background, culture, language, gender, religion, education, and social class all intertwine. In this presentation, I want to share not only the facts about myself, but also some of the stories beyond those facts. These ways, they've influenced my worldview, the challenges I've faced, and the lesson I've carried forward. Here are the project goals. The objective of this project is to examine my identity through a guided set of questions. These questions are designed to help me better understand my own background and to see how it connects to larger social patterns. Um, Specifically, I will be reflecting on my social class, race, ethnicity, and gender identity, my sexual orientation, and, if applicable, disability status, my language background, religious beliefs, and educational experiences, my family structure, the geography of where I grew up, and the cultural norms of my household. And lastly, the role of travel, food, and childhood activities in shaping my sense of self. By going through this process, I hope to highlight that identity is not a single label, but a combination of many different influences, some chosen, some inherited, and some shaped by an environment around me. So let's get started. Uh, Social class. I would describe myself as middle class because my family has never struggled to put a roof over my head and they've never struggled to give me meals every day. But I do not consider ourselves rich, just comfortable enough to be middle class. How would you describe your race ethnicity and do I perceive a difference between the two terms? Race and ethnicity. Oh, my race is Asian and my ethnicity is Filipino. I do not perceive a difference between the two because race and ethnicity are related but not the same. Race usually refers to the physical traits like skin color and facial features, and it's often how society groups people. Ethnicity, on the other hand, is about culture, shared tradition, language, and ancestry and religion. For example, someone might be racial Asian but ethnically Japanese or Filipino. Next is what is your sex gender? Do I perceive a difference between these two terms? My biological sex is male and my gender identity is man. I perceive a difference between these two terms because sex and gender are also different concepts. Sex usually refers to biological traits, things like chromosomes, anatomy, and hormones. And gender, on the other hand, is more about identity and expression. uh, and these roles society associates with being male, female, or non-binary. So while sex is biological, gender is social and personal. How would you describe your sexual orientation and sexual identity? I identify myself as straight. Are you disabled? If so, how has your disability impacted your life and your worldview? I am not disabled, but I do consider my anxiety and depression as a sort of disability in a sense, and it used to impact my life and worldview a lot. I used to not go outside and be distanced from everything and everyone, and I couldn't do like basically anything. It was crippling. But once I sought for help, like therapy, and got prescribed medication, everything got better. What is your first language? Do you speak other languages than your first one? If so, in which social setting did you use your respective languages. So my first language was Italian. I was born in Rome, Italy. So normally, I just learned Italian, and but I also speak Tagalog and English. Obviously, I use them in my household, school, work, like basically everywhere. I speak Tagalog to my parents. I speak English and everywhere else, and Italian is just something that I remember. In school, while I was going to school in Italy, I studied English because it was just like a requirement, and this guy was forced to. Did you study? Did you study other languages than your first language in school setting? If so, which languages and why? Uh, like I said, I studied English at school, and I was taught Italian. If you are religious, what is your religious background? What did you believe growing up, and what do you believe now, and why? So, growing up, since I was born in Rome, I grew up Catholic, and I believed in God and Jesus and the Bible and everything. But now, I am less religious, but I am still Catholic, and I still believe in Jesus and God. But it's not as strong because I just don't go to church anymore, and yeah, just my lack of visits to church. Did you go to public school or private school growing up, or some combination of both? What impact did your schooling have on your worldview? So I attended a mix of both. Actually, I started in private, and then after fourth grade, I went to public school and so on. This impacted my worldview by so the private school I went to, it taught me a lot of religion and of the world in general, and it taught me very mature things at a very young age. What was is the educational background of your parents? How did their views impact your perceptions of educational system? So my parents' educational level is some college. They did graduate high school, but I believe they never finished college. And their views influenced my own perception of education by teaching me how important going to school is and actually finishing school and graduating, so I can get like a stable job afterwards. Where did you grow up? Was it an urban, suburban, or rural environment? On what continents did you grow up? In what country? Which countries? What were the geographical division in your region? So I grew up in Rome, Italy, like I said, and the environment was urban. In Rome, the geographical division are shaped by its ancient past. The city is built around the Tiber River, which historic district is filled with landmarks, government buildings, and tourist sites. Wealthier neighborhoods tend to be in the northern and western parts of the city, while the outskirts, it's different in the outskirts. Different groups of people often lived in different quarters. Immigrant population might cluster in certain districts, while Roman families tended to stay in more central or traditional neighborhoods. Let's be and then after I moved to Vegas, it was completely different. It's shaped less by history and more by modern development. It's more suburban. What was your family? Was your family fixed or nomadic over the course of your lifetime? My family was nomadic during my lifetime. We moved a lot, and um, apartments, houses, cities, countries, and everything like that. Gender roles in the family. Who did the cooking in your household? Which parent or parents worked outside the home? What do you admire the most about your parents as an occupation? Were siblings of a different gender treated differently from you? If so, how? So, in my household, my mom mostly did the cooking, and my dad mostly worked outside the house. I admired my parents' serving job. They were service at restaurants because I liked how it revolved so much around customer service. And my siblings were not treated different from me, despite the gender and the age. Have you ever lived, studied, or traveled abroad? If so, for how long, and in what context? Did you speak the languages of countries that you visited or in which you lived? So I did travel abroad. I lived in Italy, but I did go to the Philippines and in the States. And yeah, I did speak Italian, Tag Tagalog, and English. Um, Sorry. And household. Who were the members of your household? Parents, grandparents, other members of your family, non-family members? Did you live in a nuclear or extended family? So the members of my household when I was living in Italy was just my dad, my mom, and my sister and I. But when we moved to the States, it was right now it's my auntie, grandma, my uncle, sister, and two cousins. And most of my life is I lived in a extended family for sure. Finishing up, how did you end up in Las Vegas? So as I said, I lived in Rome for half of my life, but I ended up in Las Vegas because my dad's family was living in Las Vegas already, and while we were living in Rome, and they convinced us to move in the States to seek better education and opportunities for my sister and I. What did you eat growing up? I grew up eating mostly Italian and Filipino food like adobo, tinola, and stuff like that, and Italian food like pasta, pizza, and bread. What were your favorite activities growing up? My favorite activities growing up were playing video games, playing sports such as basketball and soccer. Conclusion. As I wrap up, I want to reflect on why this exercise matters. Talking about identity can sometimes feel personal or even uncomfortable, but it's also one of the most important steps in understanding both ourselves and each other. Going through these questions has reminded me of the complexity of my own story. How my family background, my language, and my gender, my education, and even the food that I grew up eating are all connected threads. Taken separately, they might just look individual facts, but together, they weave the fabric of who I am today. The, this project also connects to the course itself. Understanding identity is not just about knowing ourselves, but it's also about being able to appreciate the diverse perspective of others. In a classroom, workplace, or community, the ability to see how someone's background has shaped their outlook is key to building empathy and respect. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I hope it gave you some insight into who I am and look forward to hearing and learning about your identities as well. Thank you.